Well, the excitement has just started, though the festival is yet to be inaugurated. I am at one of the venues of Goa Heritage Festival, which starts from 15th to 19th of November here at Campal, Panaji. And my segment today happens to be books. Now, books, usually we are a little lazy to read books, or I wouldn't like to read literature. But then again, I have three of the beautiful ladies here who will speak on their books, on their journey, and also how does it feel to be part of this Heritage Festival, where they also launch some of their books here. So let me begin with the introduction first. First of all, I have the Vice Chairperson of Goa Heritage Action Group, Heta Pandit. Heta, hi. Also joining is Clarice Vaz, who has written a lot many books. And also joining her is Dr. Fatima Gracias. Ladies, welcome to this show. And it's good to have these beautiful smiles here. Tell me one thing, usually reading books is a lazy affair. How has been your experience with people? Writing, I will ask you later, but how has been your experience understanding Goan people reading or, are interested in reading books, first of all?
See, I think, Rohit, the books by themselves you can't put in a whole bundle. So it depends on the subject. If you find a subject that interests you, you will pick up a book. And now I'm happy to say that reading has become quite fashionable.
Okay. Also, Clarice, many people talk about fiction, non-fiction, and stuff like that. You are predominantly connected with respect to a little of heritage. You are kind of viewed together. How do you see heritage as one of the subjects to market here, basically in Goa, where the readership happens to be Goan?
That's a good question. Heritage is an experience, and I believe that heritage is so important in context with its history. That's the better way of marketing heritage. Heritage on its own, just showcasing culture, traditions, food that we eat, dress that we wear, is not going to help as much as if we connect it with history and connect it with the locals. So then the locals would have so much more at stake for themselves, as well as those who are promoting heritage. And I think that combination would work brilliantly.
Okay. Yeah. And also, Doctor, I would like to know is how do you foresee the next generation, especially with respect to heritage? Like if I tell you, then it becomes monotonous. When you have a little fiction, you have some other elements to it. It becomes very interesting. Like we learn his heritage in our books as well, in schools as well. But how does writers make it different so that you are connected to your roots basically, and you know the process of all your culture and influences that has happened over the years?
Before I start, I would like to congratulate the Goa Heritage Group for reviving, or rather starting this festival that's bringing awareness among the people, and especially the young people, because they need to know about their past, and they also need to preserve this past, because it's a very rich past, and the Goan past is really rich past, and this heritage covers various aspects of our life. It's not like only monuments or buildings or statues. It covers various aspects of life which are important, and we need to preserve them. Young generation must get involved, and also when we write about our heritage, it's very important to make it interesting by telling little stories connected with what we are discussing, and so on.
Heta, on this panel we have three of the writers who are part of the festival who write about Goa. I believe for this festival, that is Goa Heritage Festival, which will happen from 15 to 19 at Campal, I believe there are a lot of non-Goan writers who will be also part of it, or Goan writers who are based outside. What is the itinerary for book lovers?
We haven't called the segment only literature or only books. Vivek Menezes has curated the whole segment and called it Ideas. And Ideas has a worldwide, global, universal subject. So by calling it Ideas, we are opening our minds. We've invited writers from all over India, even abroad, and different subjects, so that ideas are exchanged. they are also keen to learn from us, from our experience, and we are equally keen to learn from them.
Clarice, I would like to know is with respect to this festival and the books that would be up for grab or up for discussion. How do you see? Maybe you can give a brief of your work, especially the people who have not read about you or read about your work.
I have brought my books. Should I showcase them?
You can explain a little on that.
So I have written two books. One is a song for Saligaon. I live in a village, and I belong to a little rural community, but I would call it an urban village. And there are many people from East Africa, from Karachi, from British colonial areas that have settled in my village, and they are highly educated. And I see them sitting, very sadly with their cat or sometimes with their dogs in the village balconies. And I'm a nurse by profession, so I have this liberty of getting into their hearts, into their homes. And then I used to wonder what was going through their minds. And it was very sad to see them sitting there, and I could see my heritage slipping away. That is when I decided, I'm not a writer, I decided to document what was happening, because the flooring tiles were being changed. The windows, we have this mother of pearl windows, they were being, crumbling down, and the aluminum windows were being replaced. And it broke my heart, and I decided to write a book. So a song for Saligaon in a form of chapters. So I wrote some love stories on my village people. Ordinary, not intellectuals or anybody, the farmer, the shopkeeper, the pork seller. And eventually I did the second book. The latest book that I've released is Romalina. Now it is Goodbye Africa, Adios Portugal, and Namaste Goa. So I'm born in Uganda, in Africa. So it gives me, and I was exposed to, life that was well advanced than what was happening in Goa. And we had to run away from Africa because of Africanization in 1969. So when I came to Goa, I came to my grandmother's house, and I found her an alien in my house. I mean, my dad said this was my house, and this was an old lady who had weird ways, running around, praying in Latin, praying in Konkani, and all the time hugging me, but at the same time rolling her eyes. And I would, like the house pets, they would get afraid. I used to get afraid of her. And I decided to write on all of this. So it's Goodbye Africa, Adios Portugal, because this grandmother, she would pray in Latin, and she would kind of try to grasp grace in church. I was astonished, because on her way she would pluck flowers from the neighbor's garden and put it in church. I mean, how could she do this? So in Goa, in Africa, I was like an Anglophone Goan. In my house in Goa now, I was a Lusophone Goan, but I wanted to eat with my fingers, because my friends were eating with their fingers, the shit kodiniste, that is the rice curry fish. But my dad wanted me to use the fork and the spoon. And the third part is Namaste Goa, because suddenly the Second Vatican had come in 1961. So by 69, everything was changing in church. My grandmother was confused. I was confused going with my parents to church, because now they're catching me by the hand, and I had to wear a little bit of a knitted cap or a veil. But then as I entered the church, it was something different, because I could see nuns wearing saris now, and some of them were singing Prabhu Jesu, and it was so different. So I capture all this in Romalina, and it's a beautiful book. If you really sit down to read, it's quite a read, and it's filled with visuals, because I did it on purpose. In 10 years' time, these visuals will be valuable, because they will add more histories. They will add more identities and associations and memories and stories. So, and each one reading the book will say, this is also my story. They will remember and reminisce about their own. So that's my second book.
Okay, Clarice Vaz took us on a journey of itself. Doctor, I'd like to see your journey also. How do you take a reader through all these ups and downs with respect to heritage, with respect to Goa predominantly?
All my books are on Goa. Goa, Indo-Portuguese history, because I am a historian, and so all my books deal with history. I've written on a variety of subjects. Started with health and hygiene in colonial Goa. Then I wrote on women. Then some Holy House of Mercy. It's a social organization. Then I have 2 books on food. I wrote 2 biographies of Goan painters. A.X. Trindade, whose collection now is on the way to Delhi for an exhibition there, and his daughter Angela Trindade. And my latest book is Trailblazers, Some Goan Women Achievers. So I have dealt with various aspects of Goan history and Goan life.
Yeah, now coming back to you, what would you like to tell all our viewers who are watching this program with respect to your journey, more importantly, and also the heritage that you have documented all these years? Though you say you have written only 8 books, right?
11.
11 books.
But Rohit, I came to Goa 27 years ago from Mumbai via Munnar, Kerala. And what struck me was the warmth of the people and how they welcome you into their homes. You don't have to be anybody special. You don't have to be famous or anything like that. That was the beginning of my journey. And that was in 1998, Houses of Goa came up. And Gerard Dacunia published it, and I wrote it in collaboration with Annabelle Mascarenhas. That was really the beginning of my journey. And before that, Navhin Times, Goa Today, writing articles, writing, and speaking about Goan houses, domestic architecture. Today, I'm happy to say that after all these years, people have become aware of their own heritage, which wasn't the case earlier. So my message to the younger generation is our daughters and our sons and our granddaughters and grandsons is collect whatever you can find from your grandmothers, grandfathers, mothers, fathers. If you feel there's nothing in this house to collect, that cannot be true, but collect stories. Because those stories will go when your elders pass on. Recipes will go out when your elders pass on. So do collect what you can find and document it. Now you have the internet at your fingertips. Spread the word, spread this knowledge. Make Goa special for the visitor and for yourselves.
Okay. How many authors are taking this opportunity as a festival as a book launch for them?
Oh, I don't know the number, but there are quite a few people. Yes, and quite a few people. And the thing is that one thing about Goan writers is that we are all very good friends. And if I listen to stories from writers abroad or even outside Goa in the rest of India, they're constantly at loggerheads, criticizing one another, putting daggers in each other's backs, but that we haven't seen in Goa at all. We've been good friends for many, many years. We encourage each other. We have a book club. We have a writers group. And we discuss our work even before it's published. We take advice from one another. We edit each other's works even without anybody, asking, or no remuneration or anything like that, out of friendship.
Yeah. I remember, Heta, my first newspaper interview was conducted by you.
Yes. I used to do a column for Navhin Times called Tumche Goe, and in which Fatima had appeared in one of the columns.
My students were excited and they said, you are there in the Navhin Times today.
Okay. Also, Clarice, I would like to know is getting this opportunity as one of the festival, as a launch pair. We see a lot of books getting launched at literature festival, literary festivals. how do you see this as kind of a giving momentum to a book in terms of, I wouldn't say sales, but in terms of getting that initial push of getting it to the readers?
Well, as such, I have never written for to give myself a push or anything. Both my books are available free of cost on my website, claricevaz.com. I do feel that we need to write out of passion and share what our heritage. It should come from within, and I wouldn't want to kind of sell my book. It has its own journey. It's just taken off, and I would like to thank Heta for actually when I wrote it, the raw manuscript. She turned around and she said, "I'm going to butcher your work and I'm going to turn it around on its head." And I'm quoting her, but she really helped me. And it was all done during the pandemic, and I mean, to be working with her. Luckily, she happens to be in my village for almost a quarter of a century. So we are very fortunate to be having her, and that is the way from there I understood how my book shaped, and I have launched this book in my ancestral house in Moira already in August, but this Goa Heritage Festival platform is huge. It's taking it to the next level, and it will probably go further. So I wouldn't look at sales. That will happen. Yeah.
Okay. Also, Doctor, how does it feel to be part of this festival? Where it is coming back after 20 odd years. It has its own charm. You have a lot of festivals happening here in Goa, but then again, this is a unique selling point. It's quite an USP to have.
I'm very happy to be a part of this festival. It's called the New Heritage Festival, but I was just recollecting. I was talking to Heta earlier, and I said, Heta, I remember about 15 or 20 years ago, I spoke at one of these heritage festival, and she said yes. It was held a little further, and I remember speaking about Penjim and the environment, something like that. And there was this talks, and then there was also display of some work of art, and I don't know if there was also music and dance in the evening. I don't remember that part. Food, of course, yes. This was about, she says, it's not 15 and 20, but it is 21 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm very happy that this festival has been revived. It's very important to preserve and to continue with our heritage.
Okay. So finally, Heta, just to wind up this program and maybe get the curtains down to this particular program as we head towards raising the curtains of the festival, what would you like to say to all the viewers who are watching this program? And you have n number of things happening, but with respect to books, with respect to this segment called as ideas, what is that one message that you want to give to all my viewers?
Registration is free, as everyone knows, and luminaries, stars, speakers are going to be there. Please come for the festival. It starts at 10 in the morning. There are lots of things happening: crafts bazaars, pop-ups, talks, lectures, bookstores. Champaka is going to be here, Broadway is going to be here, and Bookworm is going to do a special children's workshop. Unnati Singh is at Armand Gonzalez's house and going to do a workshop with children. Liam, who's Armand's son, is going to do a little walk of all the trees that he's planted in his neighborhood. So there are lots of things happening. There is an adoption clinic for pets. There is a pet camp that's going to happen. And there's going to be music, entertainment, and also an after show party, because we want to close at 9 o'clock so the neighbors are not disturbed.
So there are n number of things happening at this particular festival. If you ask me where you want to be from 15th to 19th of November, I would suggest, or rather we would suggest, please be at Campal, Panaji to experience this Goan Heritage Festival that is here, which is coming after 20 odd years, and you have every single thing for everyone who's interested in, whether it is, as you said, craft, whether it is music, food, bike rally, vintage car, etc., etc., etc.
bikes.
Vintage bikes as well. So n number of things happening. So you have to be at the festival. So be, as you said, register and be part of this festival.